Hello everybody and welcome back to Spintires Mudrunner. In today's episode we have something quite special. This is the NAMI 018 steam truck. And as you can see, it's a very distinctive sounding machine. And it was built directly after World War II when there was a bit of an oil shortage in Russia. It never really got beyond the, what do you call it, the prototype stage. Cistern, alright. Carriage trailer, that's probably the normal, yeah that is. Log cart. And log cart and log. So if I take that off, I can have 4 points. Then you also have like the, let's see, the usual dragged trailers and utility trailers and all that. So let's see, what will I try? I'm kind of tempted to go big. Nah, go big or go home. Yeah, this is probably going to turn out terribly, but and yeah, there's a lot of smoke. And I think the real thing was capable of about 40 kilometers an hour, and was sort of abandoned more because it was what do you call it? The problems of fuel supply had been rectified, so it wasn't really needed anymore. And it was a wood burner, and it has basically an automatic boiler back here. I assume there was some limitations. If I remember rightly, it said something that had trouble with its basically you had to keep the water level in the boiler perfectly correct, otherwise these things turn into bombs basically. Still, it's nice to have an 8-point truck that's relatively compact, and steam is actually quite powerful. I think this thing was about 120 horsepower and about 1000 RPM on the steam engine, and with a steam engine you don't really need a clutch or anything because you can just pull off in whatever speed you want. And as you can see, this thing is just scuttling along to the point where I can turn that off for better turning. I think this thing might have a realistic top speed, as the real thing wasn't very fast. No, it does slow down onto the mud because if I remember rightly, these things are quite heavy, which is probably why I need the drive to the front wheels to keep dragging it along. Anyway, I suppose we will fill it up here, and I will catch up with you lot when I get to the log loading point. So I will see you soon. Alright, welcome back. We've reached the log area, and it's a lot quicker this time compared to, say, the MTZ tractor I did in the last episode, which was right before and it's actually still on the map. Anyway, we've finally reached the log loading area, well, in the steam truck. As you can see, I've sort of got it in all-wheel drive with the diff lock on pretty much the whole way. I found if I turned off the drive to the front wheels, this thing would stall out quite easily, as well, at the moment most of the weight is concentrated on the front wheels. So I do need the diff lock to get everything moving. And that's about as far as I can turn. As you can see, this thing doesn't have the best at turning circles. But that doesn't, it's sort of not super trouble, but actually what I'm going to do is I have no tow point on that trailer. That's going to complicate things. Alright, yeah, as you can see, there's no winch point on the trailer, which will probably make things difficult. Okay. And yeah. This is why I prefer the wagons. Yeah, 6 points. I thought this thing was an 8-point trailer, so maybe it doesn't work. It did also say that it was a beta, so let's get this moving slowly. I'm going to be quite cautious with this because I've noticed it is a bit slug, but I'm not so much. It does seem to be driven a bit by the trailer, so if you get any twist on the trailer it affects the tractor part. And as you can see, it is bumping around quite a bit, and you do have to, as you can see, it does not like tight turns either. I am kind of wondering what it will be like in the water, as I mean, in reality you probably don't want to take a steam vehicle through deep water. They're fine as long as I think the firebox is kept clear. I can't remember how high the boiler was in this, but I do know that it's possible to ford rivers with a steam tractor, but you had to drop the fire on before you went in the water, and then you had to sort of let the fire bars cool down and then cross the river on residual pressure. Otherwise you'd have probable boiler damage if you'd let the firebox get wet. Now it's hanging it up now. As you can see, this is not the most agile of machines, which is one of the reasons why the steam truck never really took off. And as you can see, I can't really see where I'm going, because of the simple fact that, well, they're quite slow. I mean, as I said, the real thing maxed out at about 40 kilometers an hour, which was actually very fast for a steam truck. Mind you, I think Sentinel made some high-speed ones, and with steam cars, Dobell, I think it's how it's pronounced in America, I know Jay Leno's got some of those, made some that were true high performance. They were like the supercars of their day, but they were sort of the exception. I mean, the Dobell was the only one that wasn't a slave to the nearest water trough, as it was like a full condenser setup and super complex. But certainly, I mean, also the expense, but I suppose back in those days it was, in the case of the Dobell, it had no gearbox at all, just a lever to set the cutoff on the steam engine, which is probably also as like an automatic decades before automatics existed. Which was kind of the car's appeal, really. That and its ability to accelerate from a standing start, like cars decades its junior. Now, are you going to go all the way around this curve, or are we going to run into trouble? Alright, we'll just run up onto this then. Fortunately, this seems to have quite a deep fording depth. And we're through that bit. And I suppose I should mention one of the reasons why I use Seashore so much for these mod tests is it's a nice repeatable test. I mean, I have 2 basic courses I take, and I think I might pick up a 3rd for the more powerful trucks that can do it. They would be able to scoot through here without even trying. And is that it's repeatable, and so it allows me to compare vehicles against each other. And also that this map conveniently has everything I need to test sort of relatively close together. It's also why I preferred Coast in the original Spintires, because the log loading point was relatively close. So I could, and so the ones done on that map could be done as a one-shot, which you can't quite do here. And I do like one-shots because I just have to make sure that the start and the end are nice, and then the rest of it's fine. Whereas otherwise, I'm like with my Car Mechanic Sim, I'm editing out all the bits where I'm in the shop, which over the course of an episode often means editing out maybe a 1/3 of the episode almost. That's also why I try and concentrate everything on that one in one go, so there's less in the editing. Mostly because I'm not particularly good at it. And I mean, the one thing I like about Spintires is the whole map is the showcase, so you don't really want to cut a lot out. Whereas if I was doing, say, a farming simulator, I might be at it for 2 hours to make a 20-minute video, and you're just getting a highlight reel, unless I did a time lapse, but that's a whole nother kettle of fish because then I have to deal with music. Come on, start turning. Now this truck is a very stiff-legged thing. I'm also running low on water. I'm pretty certain that's my water tank. Despite what it says for fuel, because this thing ran on wood chips. Still, we are now at our destination. And we are loading. And that's that sawmill sorted. And so this is actually quite a capable truck. You know, it's sort of something I might have been. Yeah, I'll just turn that off. Yeah, so there's an example of it. And there's the radiator thing there. Maybe this thing had a condenser, now that I think about it. And so sort of, you know, might have been. So I'll see you next time in Spintires Mudrunner.